Hi guys, it's Sarah back with another video. Today we're doing an experiment. I've got paint details showing up on the screen now, and what I am doing today is 6 different tests to see what the difference is between using just transparent paints, just opaque paints, a mixture of transparent paints with opaque white, a mixture of opaque paints with opaque white, and a mixture of all layered transparent and opaque colours, and then finally all transparent and opaque colours layered but with white as well. So we've got 6 different experiments. I'm doing each of these experiments on a large ceramic tile. So this first experiment here is with just transparent colours. So that's 2 layers of each of the paints, so 6 layers in total, although there's not enough paint of each colour to form a complete layer. So I've just, as you can see in the top of the pot there, it's just sort of a bit of a swirl. This result was not a surprise to me in the slightest, and you'll see as soon as I lift it what I mean. All the colours have pretty much merged together. All 7 of these paints were all mixed to exactly the same viscosity. But I find this quite often with transparent paints. I mean, I know that the blue and the purple at least are pretty similar in colour, but I know from experience that just using transparent paints, you do not get good sales. Or I don't with my mix anyway. You can just about see when I finish this that there is more than one colour in here. You can see a little bit of the pink coming through, but essentially this just looks like a blue tile. So this is just transparent paints. I was a bit light-handed with the paints in the first couple of experiments because I didn't want to run out, and I ended up with way more than I needed for my last 2 experiments, so I could have put a bit more on these first couple. So that one is thoroughly unimpressive, no cells, almost one solid colour. And if you were experimenting with pouring yourself and you hadn't done very many, or it was your first one and you used just transparent colours, you'd be thoroughly disappointed to get that as your result. So the next one we're going to do is the same 3 transparent colours. I'm chuckling to myself there, thinking that I look like I'd murdered a Smurf. So this is the same 3 transparent colours, but with white added into the mix, and the white is opaque. So a bit of white, the 3 colours, another layer of the 3 colours, and then I think I put another bit of white on the top. Yeah, and then one quick swirl. If this was on a bigger canvas and we had a whole cup of paint rather than just that small half a pot, this would certainly look better than it does here. There were some cells, but with the limited amount of paint, it just was a bit naff. but at least we've got a much better result by adding some white in than that first tile, which is almost one solid colour. So unfortunately I did tilt off. There were a few more cells on that right hand side, but I did tilt them off to try and get the corner covered. But at least you can see the difference that having that one opaque colour, that white added in, makes from the first tile that we did. So the next experiment is just using the 3 opaque colours. So same thing again, just 3 colours and then another set of the same 3 colours. I forgot to mention I did add on screen at the start of this video 1 drop of silicone into each of the 6 coloured paints and nothing in the white. So again, this is just opaque colours. So we do have some cells trying to come through. In the bottom there you can see, now on the right. I mean, the colours are pretty similar. I intentionally did that. The 3 transparent colours are sort of similar in the same colour range, and the 3 opaque ones are also similar in the same kind of family. I wanted something that when I did the final 2 experiments where all 6 paints were mixed together, it wouldn't look like a horrendous mess. I wanted it to look like something that might turn out quite pretty. So we've got some cells, and you know, it's not one solid block of colour like the first transparent tile was. So it would still probably be quite disappointing to get that result if you were new to pouring and trying to get cells, trying to get something really pretty. I mean, you know, it's kind of pretty, but it's not impressive. So now we'll do the same 3 opaque colours, but with some white on the bottom and some white on the top. Oh no, I was going to say I forgot the white, but I did remember it. So this is like 3 opaque colours plus the opaque white. This is sped up to twice its speed, so I was pouring and tilting quite a bit slower than you're seeing here. So this one's got some relatively well defined cells. They do go a little bit wobbly as I tilt, but it's actually very similar to the one that didn't have any white in. The cells are slightly better, but as you can see, it's almost identical to the one above it, which didn't have any white in it. So on to our final 2 experiments. So now what I'm doing is using all 6 paints, and I'm alternating between transparent and opaque each time I put a colour in. So we'll have transparent, opaque, transparent, opaque, transparent, opaque. And this one has no white. So this is just all 6 of the colours, 2 layers, the same, following the same principle that I have with the other 4 experiments. So layering the transparent and opaque colours is something that, in my experience, gives the best sales. I always try to make sure I have a mixture of transparent and opaque paints, and if I'm thinking about it enough, which I don't always, I do try and layer them so that you have alternating transparencies. So on this one we've got some really good cells, well-defined cells, and actually a really nice colour mix, I think, which was my hope when I picked these 6 colours to experiment with. So quite a pretty result, quite good cells, quite happy with that one. And then our final experiment is the white, again layering the transparent, opaque, and so on. And I'm expecting this to give me the best result. I forgot what order I was pouring in here, so I had to stop and go back through it in my head. Now, did I remember to put some white on the top? No. So this one just had white on the bottom. I obviously lost concentration a little bit. But I had a lot more paint on this one, so I didn't need to tilt as much. So I've got some really good cells there, you can see. Of course, I'm tilting quite a lot of them off, but so that one at the bottom in the middle that we've just poured, that is my favourite kind of look. I don't like paintings really that are covered in cells. I think they look too busy. So let's just recap. So top right, transparent colours only, and no cells, one big blob of colour. The next one along with white was okay. The 2 opaque onlys, bit some cells, but those bottom 2 on the right and in the centre are the best ones, and those are the ones where we layered the transparent and opaque paints. Hope this has helped you today, and happy pouring.